Mr. Naresh Gujral.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I rise to support these path-breaking bills which have the potential to change the entire Indian economy. Sir, this is the greatest reform bill. I'm sorry? Sir, this is the greatest reform bill since 1991, when the Indian economy was unshackled by removing the license quota Raj by the P.V. Narasimha Rao government. So the GST has become a reality, and it reflects the true spirit of cooperative federalism in this country, because each of the parties which is sitting here, many of them were ruling in the states, and their representatives were in the GST Council, where they passed it unanimously. Sir, I heard Mr. Sibal with rapt attention. He felt it was anti-farmer, he felt it was anti-business, and he felt it was anti-industry. But I feel that his speech was totally anti his own ministers in the state. Half a dozen of his finance ministers in the states participated in the deliberations of the GST Council. Was he trying to say that they were all either illiterate or incompetent and they had no sense where they were voting or what they were voting for? That really goes to show how this party treats its state governments with contempt. Sir, I look at this bill also as an anti-black money law, as this will ensure that compliance increases and the tax would be payable only on value addition at each stage of output, and input credit would be made available automatically for taxes already paid. There would be an element of self-policing at each stage, as it would be in the interest of the stakeholders to ensure that the tax chain is maintained. Sir, this bill is going to benefit both the producing states and the consuming states. Sir, I represent the state of Punjab, which is basically an agrarian state. But the Punjabis love to consume, they love to live well, but they don't like to see the face of invoices. All I have to say is, and Arunji would ratify what I am saying, and so would Ambika ji, that if in Punjab all the eateries just cut bills for the tandoori chicken that we consume, we will have a surplus budget. And this bill is going to ensure that all the consumption of the state will be accounted for. Sir, it is a well-known fact that trucks and commercial vehicles spend 16% of their time at state barriers. You imagine, with the free flow of traffic, how much fuel would be saved, how much money would be saved, and also the pollution will get reduced because engines were just idling at state borders. Sir, I heard Mr. Anand Sharma and Mr. Praful Patel say that this act will be inflationary. I humbly disagree with them, because once the compliance increases and the revenues to the exchequer increase, the rates will start coming down automatically. Finance ministers don't like to tax their people too much because it's not populist. And we saw in the case of the telecom industry and in the case of the air travel, as the business rose, how the rates started to drop. You would recall the charges for telephony used to be 15-20 rupees a minute, and now they're a few paise. So I'm sure as the compliance will increase, the Honorable Finance Minister here and in the states would all recommend that the rates start to go down. Sir, our generation next has the intellectual ability to build businesses. They have the creativity and they can take on the best in the world. But our inefficient and corrupt indirect tax regime was a dampener for them. Now this will bring in simplicity and transparency in our indirect taxation. Sir, FDI which is helping India become the fastest growing economy in the world, was waiting for this revolutionary act. We would be the largest recipient of FDI inflows with this forward-looking act. And economists have predicted that India's GDP will grow by at least 2% with the passing of this bill. Sir, the transition will not be easy, despite all the preparations that have been done by GSTN. And whenever such a revolutionary step is taken, there are initial hiccups. But I'm sure our people will show resilience just as they did with demonetization, because they know that the intent of the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister is good, and that it is good for the Indian economy in the long run. Sir, Mr. Anand Sharma started his speech by saying that this was their idea, but they were unlucky. Mr. Sibal said they lost an opportunity. It is on record. You are on record, sir. I was taking notes.
से मैं वही देख रहा था, अभी मैंने क्या बोला?
आपने कहा
मैंने ये बोला
हमें पास करना चाहिए था।
मैंने ये बोला, अरे सुनो मेरे मित्र, मैंने ये कहा था that we were not lucky in what sense? That at that time we did not have an opposition which saw the larger national interest or had majority and wisdom. Now going to that side, the Prime Minister himself has got the wisdom, where he was the single Chief Minister who agitated the most for 7 years. That's exactly what I said.
Sir, all I have to say that they lost an opportunity because they had a Finance Minister who was rigid when he needed to be flexible. They had a Finance Minister who was obstinate when he needed to be accommodative, and who believed it was his way or the highway when he needed to be supremely patient with his colleagues in the states. Sir, on the other hand, we were fortunate to have a Finance Minister who, with tact, charm, diplomatic skill and immense patience, made sure that 29 Finance Ministers of states helped pass it unanimously. Sir, once again, I congratulate the Honorable Finance Minister for skillfully tackling this humongous task and ushering in this transformative reform. I am certain, sir, that the Honorable Prime Minister and the Finance Minister will not rest on past laurels. There are other second-generation reforms still to be ushered in, like the labour laws and the privatization of the perennially loss-making PSUs. Mr. Finance Minister, सितारों से आगे जहां और भी हैं, अभी इश्क में इम्तिहान और भी हैं.
Thank you, Mr. Naresh Gujral.